Over the weekend, a women's basketball game between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark turned into something way bigger than just sports. It started with a hard foul, but it quickly grew into a heated debate that's now all over social media. Former NFL quarterback and ESPN analyst Robert Griffin III, better known as RG3, watched the game and made a bold comment. After seeing Caitlin Clark's flagrant foul on Angel Reese, RG3 said he was sure Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. He didn't say it was just sports rivalry hate either. He insisted it was deeper than that, real hate. And that comment set off a storm. One of the first to respond was former NFL safety and sports commentator Ryan Clark. He fired back with a sharp message, suggesting RG3 had no place speaking on what young black women like Angel Reese go through. Ryan's point was that RG3, who has only been married to white women, wouldn't truly understand the struggles of black women in America. He even said RG3 probably isn't having those kinds of conversations at home because his household doesn't include black women. This triggered an even deeper conversation. It wasn't just about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark anymore. It turned into a messy public argument between RG3 and Ryan Clark, and then other people started jumping in. One of them was Cam'ron, who said he doesn't trust anyone who claims to speak for black people, but chooses not to be with them in their personal life. He made it clear it's a personal issue for him. He just doesn't believe someone who only dates white women should be the voice for black people, especially black women. It felt hypocritical to him. Mase, sitting next to Cam, agreed. They weren't saying anything is wrong with interracial dating, but they believe that if you don't choose to be with black women, then you lose credibility when talking about issues that affect them. It felt like RG3 was trying to fight for something he didn't really represent. That's how they saw it. They even brought up how other celebrities have done similar things, speaking loudly about black rights while never publicly loving a black woman. To them, it felt like a contradiction. Meanwhile, Ryan Clark took things even further. He posted that RG3 was never a good teammate on the football field or on TV. He claimed he once had RG3's back, helped him when others wouldn't, and tried to protect him. But now he felt betrayed. Ryan called RG3 fake phony and said he was one of the worst teammates he ever worked with. He didn't hold back. He said RG3 invited someone onto a show who didn't like Ryan just to take shots at him, and that RG3 only challenged Ryan's opinion to stir up drama. That's when the argument became very personal. Then RG3 responded, saying Ryan crossed the line by bringing up his wife and home. To RG3, this wasn't just about basketball anymore. It felt like an attack on his family. He even said ESPN should be ashamed of Ryan Clark, suggesting maybe he wanted ESPN to fire him. That's ironic because RG3 doesn't even work at ESPN anymore. And Ryan Clark made those comments on The Pivot, not even on ESPN. Still, RG3's response made it clear that this fight wasn't just professional, it was deeply personal. And it didn't stop there. People across the internet started chiming in. Another former athlete, Marcellus Wiley, who's had his own issues with Ryan Clark, pointed out that Ryan Clark once dated white women too. This made things even messier. Now it wasn't just about RG3's personal life. It brought Ryan's past into question too. The argument was no longer about who was right or wrong about the foul. It became about whether someone with a white partner can speak honestly about black issues. At the center of it all, the actual basketball play between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark wasn't even that dramatic. Caitlin made a hard foul. Angel reacted passionately, and both teams had to be separated. That's just part of competitive sports. These are two athletes who respect each other but play hard. But RG3 took that one moment and said it proved Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. That's where things exploded. Critics say RG3 was feeding into a harmful media narrative, one that tries to pit Angel and Caitlin against each other. They believe it's unfair and unnecessary. And when he made that statement sitting with his white wife in the background, some people saw it as a pattern. They said RG3 has a history of using language that comes off as performative or pandering, trying too hard to appeal to certain audiences. Others say Ryan Clark took it too far. Yes, he was calling out RG3, but he did it by speaking on his marriage and how he runs his household. Some people felt like that crossed the line. Ryan argued that he didn't disrespect RG3's wife. He said he met her and she seemed like a lovely woman. but he stood by his point that RG3 wasn't in a position to speak about black women's issues because he wasn't living with or loving one. That's where the argument gets tricky. Can someone love their race and still marry outside of it? Can you fight for black people if your partner isn't black? It's a conversation that's divided people for years. Some believe love is love, and your partner's race doesn't define your values. Others think your personal choices reflect your beliefs. And in this case, those beliefs were used as ammunition in a public fight. There's also another layer to this. The media benefits from drama. The WNBA is growing and trying to bring in more fans. Drama sells. Conflict draws attention. The NBA has been criticized for lacking competitiveness in recent years, but the WNBA is just getting into the spotlight. And the league knows that storylines like Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark help sell tickets and boost ratings. So, when something like a flagrant foul happens, it gets blown up. It's no longer about the game. It becomes a bigger cultural debate. And because RG3 and Ryan Clark are no longer just sports analysts, but content creators with platforms, the line between real opinion and clickbait gets blurred. This new media space rewards controversy. The louder your take, the more attention it gets. And whether RG3 truly believed Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark or he just wanted to spark a conversation, it worked. It lit a fire, but now, instead of focusing on the athletes and the actual game, the internet is focused on two retired football players arguing about who's more qualified to speak on black women's struggles, based on who they married. And at the end of the day, this all started with a single foul in a basketball game. Two talented women playing hard. And somehow it became about race, relationships, reputation, and respect. People are asking, did RG3 go too far by saying Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark? Did Ryan Clark cross the line by bringing up RG3's wife? And should either of them even be involved in this kind of debate? Well, one thing is for sure, this whole situation shows how quickly sports can turn into something much bigger. It also shows how sensitive people are about who gets to speak for a community and how personal things can get when you start talking about people's homes, families, and life choices. Maybe the lesson in all of this is that sometimes it's okay to just let a basketball game be a basketball game.